All right, we officially start the third quarter of this course, discovering the secrets of the unconscious mind and subconscious mind. And I want to tell you more about goal setting and visualization. So if I summarize what we said in the morning time, we said close to 88% of what we do is being managed by the subconscious mind. And we said the subconscious mind uh, is designed in order to help us feel better and be better, in other words, to make us become more successful. And it serves us, it strives to achieve the goals that we set for it, and it corrects itself all the time. We also said that the unconscious mind stores memories and mental pictures and acts according to them, runs the body, is the domain of emotions, and it cannot process negativity and takes everything that we say or we think about personally. We also said that the unconscious mind is very symbolic, shows us symbols in forms of thoughts, ideas, and dreams. It generates energy and also distributes energy and maintains energy as well, maintains instincts and habits. It controls our perception, and also it represses unresolved emotions. We talked about the inner world and outer world. We talked about the communication model. I think this can be one of the most important slides that we could ever go through. This is very, very important to understand that our mind constantly deletes, distorts, and generalizes what is happening or based on whatever is happening. And that gives us specific types of conclusion that we call it internal representation. This internal representation in turn changes our states and affects our physiology. And there are interactions among these three elements all the time, but it is our state that determines the quality or the type of our behavior. And that's very important. I also talked about filters, and I said because of these filters, we keep deleting, distorting, and generalizing whatever is happening around us. And we talked about mind versus heart, or in other words, conscious mind versus unconscious mind. And I told you in the battle of the unconscious and conscious, always the unconscious mind wins unless we understand to communicate with it and speak with it in its own language. We also said that the language of the unconscious is pictures and emotions, while those of the conscious mind is logic and analysis. We talked about attitude. We said attitudes are thoughts, feelings, and action tendencies that we hold around or about someone or something. And then we talked about assumptions and the significance of assumptions, talked about theory X and Y, and self-fulfilling prophecy, which is super important. And we said assumptions will lead to beliefs. I gave you a couple of examples and stories of beliefs or wrong beliefs that people have. We talked about beliefs, opinion, and conviction, placebo effect, and finally, we talked about memories and imagination. So this was the last thing we talked about. And we said, if we want to change the way our subconscious reacts to things around us, we have to change our memories. But we can't simply change the past memories. But the easy way for us is to create new memories that are pleasant, that are productive, that are good, that are in line with the results that we want or what we want to do or become. That's important. Okay, so this is how we can create the future, because the moment you start imagining about the future, you start creating something or creating a series of changes in the unconscious level. And for sure, that will affect how we think, how we feel, our attitude, our assumptions, our beliefs, and for sure, our emotions. All right. So I don't know why these arrows came. They came out of nowhere. I have to stop sharing, and then I have to share again so that they disappear. That's the magic. So we said, I told you and I shared with you a couple of things about stating your outcome. Many people set goals or want to set goals. They write their goals. Writing is perfect, is very good. But there is a big question mark here. And that is, why is it that I always try, I always write down my goals and nothing happens? Well, I can tell you that there is a system in which there are lots of subsystems. And in order for you and your big system to work, you have to make sure every subsystem is aligned and is in line with others in order for you to be productive and to see results. And if there is any subsystem missing, then you can't expect the whole system to work. And that's why this is very important. So if you want to really achieve something good for yourself, something meaningful, start with writing what you want in a positive way. And that's number one. State whatever you want in the positive, and also write specifically what you want. Again, you should not talk about the things that you don't want, but the things that you want. That's very, very important. The next one, in the second question, all right, you're going to talk about the things that are happening right now in your life, in the present situation, all right? So in question one, in answering question one, you focus on the positive outcome that you expect or you want to achieve or to be or to have. In the second question, you talk about the same context, but you talk about now, the things that you have, the things that you are, where you are, what you have, how you are, what you do, and so on and so forth. All right? The reason is we want to see the difference between what you want in future and what you want of what you have right now. So what is the gap and how much difference there is between now and then, for a couple of reasons that I will share with you later. Now, the third one, and I can tell you this is the most important part of what you're going to say and write down, is right here. You're going to specify the outcome. And as you explain and specify the outcome, which should be positive, like according to number one, it should be positive and it should be as specific as possible. You have to write it in a way that you explain everything. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're going to write a plan for yourself for the beginning of 2024, not the past, in the future, 2024. So we have more than 3 years and 8 months to that, or 3 years and 3.5 years to that. And you're going to write down whatever is going to be there. All right. For example, if you're talking about a relationship, then you have to talk about the quality of the relationship, the quality of the partner, the things that you do together, the activities that you're sharing together, the funds that you have, how you feel about it, what you hear from him, what you say to him, what you see physically, the environment, your house, and everything. If you talk about health and you talk about fitness, then you have to talk about your physical attributes or the other person's physical attributes, if it's important to you, right? If you're planning to get your master's degree, then you have to also include that in the picture. So the most important thing is this: as you're answering question number 3, it is not one thing that you talk about, okay? So you consider a specific time in the future where you achieved something significant, but not just one thing. We are not here to just talk about one specific area of life. It is good to focus on it, but if you set goals, it should be in a way that it covers major areas of your life, not just one, because life is not only about money, it is not also only about health. It is not also only about relationship, because all of these interact with each other. All of it may have positive or negative impact or on other elements. All right. So you're going to specify what you see, what you will see, what you will hear, what you feel, and so on. And more important than anything else, in answering question number 3, you have to write in a way that it is happening right now in the future. It means in your answer, you're going to say it is January 1st, 2025, for instance, okay? And I am in this place. And you start describing that place, whatever you see, whatever you feel, whatever you hear in that particular place. And then you say, and my partner is here, my partner is like this, and what I see is he is like this and he's like that. You start describing him. And you can talk about his characteristics or her characteristics and everything. And then you add something else. You have to bring some evidence for yourself to show that you've achieved something, all right? Therefore, it should be compelling, something that really make you feel different, okay? If you're imagining something in the future that doesn't give you any significant feeling, it's not going to change your subconscious mind. It's not going to have any kind of impact on your subconscious mind. It's not going to change anything. If you want something to change, you have to make it meaningful and compelling to yourself, all right, to feel it. And forget about the last one, because I will do that in class. I do that if it's students to insert it in future. But what you need to do, as for now for yourself, is to describe everything that is happening right now in the future, as if it is happening to you, okay? In other words, imagine it's 3 years from now and you are writing what you're experiencing at that moment, okay? That is very, very important. And this is what we call association or associative state, because you see everything through your own eyes and you describe them. So the quality of what you write and the specific information that you write here will have impact on the intensity of the emotion that you experience. Okay, so if you want positive outcome, you have to experience it. And when your pictures are vivid, clear, with details, you feel it. And this is what you need. You need feeling. And this feeling will be your engine. This feeling will be your fuel, your gas for your unconscious mind to move it, to change it, to shake it, to shock, to give it a shock. So that's how it works. You describe everything, and it is important that in your answer, you explain everything in ways that you have enough evidence for yourself to prove to yourself that you have achieved. Okay, I will get to that in following questions. Okay, look at this. That's number 4. So in number 4, the question is what you answered in question number 3. Did you specify your evidence procedure? And by evidence procedure, it means what are your evidence? What is your evidence that you achieved your goal specifically? For example, if I say I am healthy, what is my evidence that 3 years from now I am healthy? I cannot say I am healthy and that's it. Because, well, it is good. It is a good affirmation, but it is not a goal. If I say I am healthy, I should bring some evidence, visual and auditory evidence, and I add to my experience as I imagine. Okay, so what is my definition of being healthy? Okay, so let's say I did some blood tests and the results are in front of me, and the doctor has signed here and said you're in great condition, for example, something like that. All right, and maybe it's an internal feeling. It's some kind of internal feeling that I have that I'm very healthy. Or if I don't get sick or whatever, or if I'm healthy for 1 whole year, that would be a good sign of being healthy. Okay, if I say I am fit, okay, it's not enough. So I have to define my fitness. What is it to me fitness. How specifically is fitness? All right, because according to my definition, all right, I should say how I look. So if I imagine that I look at myself in mirror, if I look at my own body, and when I touch my body and I feel that it is different, that experience, that would be an evidence for me specifically that explains that I already achieved my goal. All right. Another example of it can be someone says, oh, you know what? Oh, this is year 2023, and I'm very happy because I'm in a very good relationship and I'm happy. It's affirmation, but it's not a goal again. Because it's not specific, there is no evidence. How do you know that you are already there? You are successful. How do you know that you already have a good relationship or you are in a good relationship? So that specific answer that you provide here will be your evidence. In other words, it will be your evidence procedure. All right. When you say, oh, for example, my partner surprised me by a bunch of red roses, for instance, or he brought, for example, he bought a ticket to, let's say, Europe, and this is the ticket. I am seeing it. You're imagining, but I am seeing the ticket that the two of us are going next month, for example, or next week, or tomorrow, or whatever. That will be your evidence procedure. So if you imagine that you already have done your master's degree, probably the best evidence procedure is to look at the wall in front of you, or to look at the desk and you see your certificate, your graduation certificate on the table or on the wall. That will be your evidence procedure. You need evidence procedure because that is the evidence that shows to your subconscious mind that you already achieved it. If you don't do it, if you don't imagine clearly and say, oh, I get my master's degree, well, this is what you say to yourself. You feel good for a moment and it will be gone again. Unless you make it a picture and you freeze that picture in your brain so that it's stuck there. All right, that's the significance of that. That's the importance of that. What else? What else is, you have to ask yourself, is what you want to achieve congruently desirable for you? Is it something that you want from the bottom of your heart or not? Or in other words, what will this outcome get for you or allow you to do? Because if what you mentioned here is not that significant and that desirable, it's not going to change the unconscious mind. It's not going to move your unconscious mind. So say it in a way that is desirable, that you want it from the bottom of your heart. That becomes a good goal for you and desirable outcome for you. And then ask yourself this question: is it self-initiated and self-maintained? Is it something that I initiate first and I maintain, or it's something that other people initiate for me, or other people have to maintain it for me? That's a very, very important question that you have to ask yourself. Okay, is it only for you, or is it for some other people as well? That's important. Next question that you have to ask yourself is about the context. Okay, the context through which or in which it happens in the future. All right, did you take good care of the context? Did you think of everything? Where do you want it? When do you want it? How do you want it? With whom do you want it? And with all these sub-questions, you're actually becoming more realistic, and you're going to take good care of the context, of the environment. And that's the key. Question number 8, what resources are needed? What do you have as your resources? What are your resources? What do you have now, and what do you want to get, and what do you need to get your outcome? With regards to resources, you also can think about the kind of resources you have. What kind of resources you have? What kind of resources you can find in other people? All right? And also ask this question from yourself: can I act as if I have these resources? For example, if you want to achieve something, you may need more confidence, okay, as a resource. If you think you don't have it, can you think of someone who has that resource, which is confident? Can you find a confident person? And next question, can you act as if you have it? Can you act as a confident person? I know you say you don't have it, okay, but can you act as if you have it? That's important. And last question, is it ecological? And that means for what purpose do you want this? Do you have good intention? Do you want to contribute something positive to your ecology, to your environment? And answer the other question, what will you gain or lose if you have it? That's a good question also that you have to answer. It goes very deep in your unconscious because you have to think of two things. When you have your goals at hand, what are the things that you're going to gain and what are the things that you're going to lose? You answer these questions, and if you really spend good time, invest your time and concentration and energy on writing these 9 questions and answering the answers to these questions, they will help you have a very, very, very good goal. But remember, you're going to specify one time in the future where you have improvements, significant improvements in different aspects of your lives until then, right? So in your goal, you cannot say, okay, in 6 months, I want to finish this project and that project. And next year, I want to do this and I want to do that. And 2 years from now, I want to finish my master's degree. And 3 years from now, I want to get married. 5 years from now, I want to have this house and this thing and that thing. No, it's not like that. You have one picture, you are creating one picture in this exercise where you have achieved a couple of areas, okay, certain things in a couple of areas in your life. And in one picture, there is enough evidence of you achieving everything in that scenario. Once you freeze that picture, once you take a mental picture of that picture, and you go and live in it for some time, it becomes a part of you. It becomes a part of the unconscious, and your unconscious will react to it. This is why it is very, very important to do it this way. All right? So you have heard of SMART goals before. So this is also the same thing, but there are additional points. If you answer those 9 questions in the right way, your goal is going to meet 11 important criteria. Number 1, your goal is going to be specific. And number 2, it will be simple. We don't want complications. If you have like 10 goals, one is for next 3 months, one is for next 6 months, and another one is for next year, and then you're 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, your subconscious mind and your conscious mind both will be confused. And it's not going to be effective. So determine something in the future, determine a time, set a time, and say to yourself, in an ideal situation, in a probable situation, what is it that I'm going to get? And that will be a time good for you, and you're going to answer the questions in the right way. Other things that you have to ask yourself, is it measurable? Can you measure your outcome? Is it meaningful to you? Because sometimes people's goals are not their goals. Someone wants to, for example, become a doctor in order to prove to parents that he or she can do it. But how meaningful is it to this person, this particular person? Someone wants to get married in order to prove to her friends or to parents that she can. But what is the point here? How significant and meaningful is it to this person particularly? So what are the things that are meaningful to you? Think of those things. The other criteria is being achievable. Goals should be achievable for us. And we have to write in a way that as if it is happening right now, and make sure your goal does not cover only one single area in your life. Your goal, a good goal, is a kind of goal that covers different areas of life. Again, money is not everything, but it is very important. Health is also very important. Family is also very important. Love is very important. There are different things in life. Fun is important. So if we want to be a good human being, if we want to have peace of mind, if we want to be happy, we have to understand that there is no single area that we have to improve, but we have to improve different areas of life. There are people who are rich, but they are not happy. There are people who have super good managerial positions or career pathways, but they are not happy. There are people who have everything, but they are not healthy. So we cannot sacrifice one for the sake of others. That is important. The other point is being realistic. So our goal should be realistic. If you doubt about it, if you're not sure about it, you can send or email your goal and ask me. I can talk to you for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, and give you some feedback. You can also ask other people who are in this field, who coach or mentor others. They can definitely help you as well. And also remember, a good goal is a kind of goal that you hold yourself responsible for it, for achieving it. Responsibility is on our shoulders, nothing else. If I want to be successful, I'm the person who is responsible for it. In NLP courses, there is this presupposition that NLP graduates in this call know about it. We say, I am in charge of my mind and therefore my results. So you are in charge of your mind and therefore your results. We are responsible for the outcomes that come to us. We are responsible. It's our actions, our reactions. It's the sum of our actions every single day, in every hour, in every minute, in every second, how we felt and how we did, or how we behaved, basically, so to speak. All right? And remember to give a time to your goal and make it toward, means you go toward it, state it in a positive. Don't talk about the things that you don't want. And if you do this, you meet all this 45, all it is 11 criteria, and for sure it will be a good goal for you. Okay? So we understood that we have five. The conscious mind speaks in a language of logic and analysis, and the subconscious mind's language is picture and emotion. And the other piece that I want to share with you is values. And I want you to do some activities also about values to understand your own values better. In simple words, values are the things or the concepts that are important to you in your life. Okay? Values are the things that you emphasize on, okay, because they are important to you in your life. So my question is very simple. I want you to take a piece of paper and I want you to write some of those things that are important to you. In other words, I want you to write a list of your own values. I'm going to share with you some examples of values. Basically, values are concepts, so they are intangible. They are not certain things that you can see or touch necessarily, and they are concepts. For example, values can be something like achievement. Value can be like teaching others, inspiring others. Power can be value for some people. Security is something that can be important to people. Family, love, teamwork, having system, having structure, having discipline in life, spirituality, religion, God can be value. Results can be value. Knowledge can be value. Other examples are courage, or accountability, or integrity, loyalty, efficiency, effectiveness, commitment. Other values are, for example, challenge in life. Okay, some people love challenge. Maybe to you, value is peace. Maybe value is world peace, maybe peace of mind, maybe freedom. So I just want you to write a list of something or those things that are important to you, like the examples that I shared with you. Maybe love, maybe value to you is expressing yourself. Maybe to you its value is networking or status or quality or fun or health, money, control can be value for some people, dressing up, maximizing your potential, knowledge. I think I mentioned knowledge. Growth can be. Creativity. To some people, making a difference is value. That's great. That's awesome. Relationships, passion, art, harmony, legacy, travel, good food, recognition, humility, fun, laughter, trust, honesty, and the list goes on and on and on and on. These are all examples of values. So as for now, just for a moment, I want you to write down your values. And if you can, write 20 values, 20 important concepts that are important to you in your life. What is important to you? Write them down. And then I'm going to ask you another question. So I'll give you another minute. And then I'll say something else. Good points. I can see here in the chat box. Ferdo says the values are basic for us. Yes, absolutely. They are very important. And it differs from one person to another. And for sure, we have a list of important concepts, important list. There is no one thing that is important to us. There are lots of things that are important to us individually. And we always consider them as important. All right. For example, here, Atafe said freedom is important. That's good. Or Shaghayer says love for animals. Or Atafe mentions kindness. Yes, absolutely. These are good and important values. But I want you to write down your own values. All right. And I hope by now you have minimum of 10. If you have more than that, if you have 15, if you have 20, it's awesome. It's really, really good. So have a look at your list. Being open-minded, that's good. Humanity, beautiful, beautiful concepts, amazing concepts. Very good. Now I want you to do something. If you have at least 10, hopefully if you have 15 or 20, if you have time, just give yourself some time, explore what is there deep inside of you, and write them down and talk about and write down what is important to you. And when you have this list, I want you to filter, I want you to shortlist it to something like a list of 5. If I ask you, what are your top 5 values in life? Which 5 values would you choose? Look at your own list and choose 5 of them. 5 of them that are most important to you. If you're about to choose 5, what would you choose? Beautiful, beautiful point, Kausar. Awesome. Awesome. So if you say my friend is value, are you referring to a particular person or you're referring to friendship? Because value basically is friendship. Friendship is an example of value. your friend is a valuable person, right? But value is basically a concept that we talk about here in this session. Okay, so we have some examples here. If you have your list of 5 and you're okay with them, I want you to uh, set them in order, okay, in order of importance, prioritize them. So number 1, your number 1 is going to be the most important one, and second one is the second most important one, and yet the list goes to number 5, okay? So if you write, you can type your answers here, at least 1, 2, and 3, so that we know what your top 3 priorities are. And then I will continue. So as you do that, I want to address one of these questions that Nitin asked about like evidence procedure. Nitin, evidence procedure basically means what is your evidence that you have achieved your outcome in future? Okay, if you say you want to be healthy, so what should happen for you so that you say you are healthy? All right, or if you say I want to have a good relationship, what should be there for you so that you have a good relationship? Okay, you have to define that success, because there should be some criteria for you. Otherwise, it's just an idea, it's just a good idea and good feeling, and that's it. Okay, so that's the key point. So that's evidence procedure, because you need to bring yourself some evidence, show yourself some evidence. Awesome. I can see some examples here. One is trust, improve life, which is improvement in life, or more or less the same thing. Honesty, or being honest, being positive, and having hope. So that's for 1. Rana says family, honesty, growth, kindness, love. Beautiful. And Nivetita says, if I pronounce your name correctly, freedom, compassion, kindness, love, and self-awareness. Nitin says kindness, security, sincerity and trustworthiness. Shagayr says love, family, animals, honesty, and career. And Farhana says open-mindedness, health, adventure / travel. Just look at the list that you see in the chat box and compare with those of yours. This is interesting. Almost whatever people mention are good, okay? And when we look at them, we say, yeah, of course, this is important for me as well. Yeah, trust, yes, it is important. Honesty is important. Growth is important. Kindness, love, self-awareness, freedom, animals, compassion, kindness, honesty, family, love, career, trustworthiness, sincerity, kindness, travel, adventure, open-mindedness, health, and many more. Yes, they are all important, but the question is, what is important to you? Basically, this is the key point, and this is something that sometimes brings complexities in the subconscious level, because at the subconscious level, we list everything according to importance, okay? And when it comes to making decisions, the unconscious mind evaluates everything according to the values list that we have, okay? So if you want to buy a house, okay, for someone who values, for example, for Rana, who values family, honesty, growth, kindness, and love, one of the major criteria are, is it a nice place? Is it a nice house for me and my family to live here or not? Can I show my love? Can I receive enough love here? Is there opportunity for me for this kind of things or not? For another person, beauty, shape, whatever can be valued. So basically, values affect our decisions. Values affect our decisions. And whether we want or not, the type of the list of values, okay, in order of importance, are going to affect what we do and what we choose and what kind of decisions we make. I hope it's clear. And the challenge here is this. We want to be successful. We want to achieve many things, but we have limited time and we cannot have everything. And because of that, because we cannot have everything at once, we have to sacrifice sometimes. We have to sacrifice the types, something that we want the most with something versus something that we want, but not something that we desperately want. Right? Make sense? So this is basically how we struggle sometimes to make a good decision, because it is all about prioritizing and choosing something that weighs more with more values, higher levels of values. Okay. So Katrina is saying, are you saying your unconscious can differentiate between higher and lower priority values? Absolutely. You come with a list of values that are important to you, okay? And I'm going to give you an example to make it clear, okay? So let me type here in the chat box for you so that you see, okay? I'm going to write a list of values for someone who wants to be wealthy, okay? Look at this priority. Someone lists this way: power, success, money, knowledge, helping others. Another one says love, nature, religion, teaching, for example, and helping others. Oh, I typed 2 times, so I had to let me separate them so that you understand it better. Otherwise, it will be confused. Helping others. Oh, it's more confusing now. Okay, someone's list starts with the word power. Power, success, money, knowledge, and helping others. That's how he or she prioritizes every decision. Look at the bottom. The list shows love, nature, religion, teaching, and helping others. Okay? Which one of these 2 people do you think is going to be rich sooner and easier? The first one or the second one? The person who says my priorities are power, success, money, knowledge, or helping others, or the one who says love, nature, religion, teaching and helping others? Exactly, the first one. Exactly. So if you find something challenging in your life, okay, something that is difficult in your life to achieve, look at your values list and see where are those core values located there. Because if what you desperately want, what you seriously want is at the bottom of your list, in every decision, you're going to sacrifice that thing for other things that are more important to you. Even everybody wants to earn some money consciously, but it's very difficult to happen for some people, because when they write down their values list, money, wealth, or financial freedom is somewhere in rank 20 or 15, 16, 17. That's the point. That is the point. That's very critical. So you can extend it to anything. Someone wants to be fit. Someone wants to be physically attractive, but you ask them to write down their values. Fitness is number 18 in the list. So of course, whenever it comes to good food, tasty food, and fitness, tasty foods weighs more. It's heavier. And then they say, oh my God, this is so tasty. How can I not say yes to this? And they never achieve what they want. So our values, when you write them down, gives you very, very good understanding of what is happening at the unconscious level. Because you don't have to think about it. If it is in your unconscious level, at your subconscious level, your unconscious mind will make decisions for you. And how does it make decision? By kind of feeling. You see the food, and the other hand, you know you have to go to gym, and you say, you know what, I'm kind of tired, and besides, I've worked hard today, so I deserve a good meal. All right, it's oily, I know, it's okay, there is so much oil there, but I love it, and I want to reward myself. Okay, so in other words, your unconscious mind is comparing uh, taste, good taste, and fun that is associated with it, with being healthy. And which one is more important in the ranking system for now? The first one, the food. So that's why we go towards the food. That's why we eat. And then we say, oh my God. And then comes self-blame, because now we feel like we are not healthy. We feel like we sabotage everything. And then we start telling ourselves, oh my God, what have I done? Why did I do this? I shouldn't have done this, over and over. And then we talk about ourselves, and we create a negative or bad memory. And this will stack over the stack of past failures. And then you tell yourself, you know what? I am not able to change. You know what? I am not able to make any difference. I can't go on a diet. I can't take good care of my body. Oh, that's the answer. Memories create beliefs as well. All these things that I showed you in the picture, on the slides, affect each other, positively or negatively. It doesn't matter. They affect each other. Okay, so sometimes we have to make changes. You have to start from somewhere. You start with assumptions. You start with your beliefs, with your values and everything. But I want to tell you something. In the picture that I shared with you in this slide, and I show you repeatedly, because I want you to understand and have a better understanding of this particular picture. Values and beliefs are at the bottom of this picture. Okay, and why? Because they are major drivers of your behavior. Okay, because they are the ones that create your kind of emotions at the subconscious level, and that emotion, or those emotions, are your motives. Or those emotions are your energy level. Those emotions are your engine's fuel or gas. All right, food for you to move forward. But values and beliefs are at the bottom because they are kind of sticky. They are kind of in the dark zone that we may not be able to see easily unless we raise specific questions, we dig into it, we discover about ourselves. When we discover about ourselves, we can figure out our values. And if there is something wrong there, if we are not happy with the ranking, or if we think the way we rank the values at the unconscious level is not in line with us or is not serving us to achieve our goals, we have to make shifts. We have to change our priorities. And that is how value shifts can help people become a different person. It does not mean that we become different people, but it means that we feel differently. Our attitude and assumptions will change because we shifted our values. Same thing about our beliefs. If we have negative beliefs, we have to change them. The moment we change them, we feel different. And the moment we feel different, we act differently. Okay? If someone says, I am ugly, all right, it doesn't mean that he or she is necessarily ugly, but that's how he or she is perceiving himself or herself, right? So instead of saying that, we replace it with positive beliefs that I am good, I am attractive, I am pretty, and I'm good enough, and I don't need anyone's approval for that. That is empowering belief, all right? Then we change it. So beliefs and values are at the bottom. They're difficult to have access to. But when we find out there are strategies for us to change them, to, in other words, to reprogram the unconscious mind in order for it to help us become more successful. And I hope this explanation is clear. And of course, if you have any question with regards to the values, I will be more than happy, or beliefs, I will be more than happy to answer. So this is what you did. I asked you to write down the list of the things that are important in your life, make sure they're invisible and intangible, and you wrote at least 15, hopefully, 15 values. And I ask you to rank them in order of importance. Preferably, you can do that when you have enough time. And then choose your top 5 values. Those top 5 values explain a lot about your behavior, about your habits, and many things, many more things. That is about it. Okay, so any question? Do you have any question about what we said? That's wise. All right. Thank you, Kosar, for your explanation. I understood. Let me see if we have any. Kamran asked me a question. Can being your own boss be considered as a value? Yes, because you understand the meaning for with that. You understand the meaning of that, and sure, it can be your value. What else? There was something that I think I missed. There is a very interesting question that is raised. I want to address, and I can see there are 2 more comments. I will go down to see if there are questions or comments. The question is, what if we set a goal and work on it, for example, for 3 years, and then we achieve only 50% of it, 60% of it, not 100%? Should we continue and not give up? Or we have to change the goal or something else? Or should we start over again? That's a very, very interesting question. You see, we set we set goals for future because we want to change the situation that we are in now, okay? In order to become a better version of ourselves, in order to fulfill our potential, right? To actualize actually our true power, unleash the power that we have within ourselves. So in order for us to do so, we either have to go randomly to any direction that we are taken to, or we set goals and we plan for it and we move forward. The point is, if the goal that we write down meets the 11 criteria that I shared with you, it's going to be a powerful one. But it doesn't mean that the moment you set it right now, you have to let it go, forget about everything, and it will all come true. No, it's not like that. Well, if that becomes a part of the unconscious, for sure, unconscious mind will move forward. But there are circumstances, there are challenges that we haven't seen, we haven't predicted. So we may come across those challenges and we may not be able to perform at that level. What is important is this: when we set the goal, it is just the beginning. We know where to go, but we have to come back. We have to set action plans or checkpoints, so to speak, to make sure that we are on the right track. Once in a while, let's say every 6 months, every year, we go back to the plan and look at our progress, okay? This happens a lot in engineering, because if you have a project and you don't close your eyes, you go step by step, and in every step, at any checkpoint, you go back, look at your performance, how you did, what are the things that you can do better, and what are the things that you can add. So if you just let it go, you may not achieve it. But if you have this kind of plan, and if you visit and revisit your goals regularly, then for sure you have more power and more concentration and more motivation. And that motivation, when it is applied every single day, will make you and help you be super powerful and super motivated to move forward. So therefore, if you do that way, you will be very close to 100%. Besides that, after a year, after 2 years, you may see that, okay, what you set as a 3-year plan, which is like 1 year ahead of you now, is kind of simple and achievable. Then you extend it to another 2 years and add something to it. You raise the bar. It's okay, no problem. We can revisit it and we can achieve something. You don't have to wait until the last day of the 3 years to look at it. We look at the past to see how we have done. We look at now, we look toward the future and see how we can go. And we chart the course. We redirect everything. Now imagine you're the captain of the ship, and in this ship, you're going to a long distance destination. Once in a while, you have to check on your speed, okay, the wind, okay, your geographical location. You have to also predict the weather. Sometimes it's better for you to stop in order to avoid some storms and then move forward a day after or a week after that. But when you consider everything and you have a good plan and you have faith, you are confident that you are going to achieve it, then you are going to achieve it. And in that case, if you achieve 90% of it, it is good. You didn't fail. You're 90% successful, and that is good. So next time you can do it better. You can improve some of your skills or learn something that you haven't learned before in order to move forward. So I hope I could answer your questions. I did my best to tell you different aspects of it. I hope you did. Nitin also asked me about reminding. Oh, thank you, Nitin, for reminding me about the routines and rituals. So how do routines and rituals influence activities that need conscious mind? And how do routines or rituals affect the subconscious level? Well, it really depends. Can you be more specific, Nitin, and tell me what you mean? What specific kind of routines and rituals are you referring to? If you tell me that, I can tell you more specific answer, probably, if I understand your question exactly. I want to understand what you specifically mean so that I tell you a clear answer from my viewpoint. Okay, let me see. Okay. Okay, I answered the question about goals. Okay, thank you, Fatimet. And how can we set our values in order? For me, all of them are important. Okay, you don't, Atife, you don't set your values in order. They are already ranked in order at the subconscious level. All right. What you do is you just realize it. So although everything is important, what you do in this practice is just to relax and reflect on how you feel about the importance of each one. If you're about to choose number 1, 2, 3 according to their importance, what would you choose, or how would you choose, or how would you rank? Don't force it. Don't use your consciousness. It's more of your feeling, deep inside feeling. I know we want everything, but as it comes to priorities, which one do you, which one is more important to you or most important to you, and so on. Can you stop pleasure from being your top value? I've tried and I feel powerless. Well, Tanika, it is possible for us to shift our values, sometimes to bring some values up, to bring some values down. It is difficult for me to explain it here, but I can explain it to you later if you want. You can contact me and I can tell you more specifically. But there are lots of things there because we have to understand what each value means to you. And then I can tell you more specifically what you can do about it. Uh, uh, and of course, there are also some strategies for us to move and shift our values. Yes, the other question, I answered the question before I read the question for you. Do core values change over time? Absolutely. Absolutely. What was the most important thing in your life when you were 10? What was the most important thing in your life when you were 20? And what is the most important to you in your life right now? For our ladies here, you are all 24 or 25 maximum, and I'm sure about that. So just think about your past. What was important to you before? What is important to you now? And for sure, it changes. When we migrate, when we go to a new place, when we change our jobs, when we get into relationships, when we become more mature, when we go to university, we get educated, when we read a book, when we attend a course, even as simple as that, there will be shifts in values. All right. We may not consciously do that, but our conscious mind is always alert, okay, totally alert, okay, to receive information in order to reformat and re-rank the values for us. And your answer is definitely a yes, a big yes. Our values, even our core values, might change over time. Values for sure. Core values are sticky, difficult to change, but they change as well. All right. Okay, there is one comment with regards to food. It's and so I don't mention the name. He or she mentioned that it's turned into bad habits like pleasure in junk food, watching TV for hours, avoiding working on my goals because it's not pleasurable. Well, it's interesting. It's a very great point, and I can see one mental mistake here. I can see this uh, the problem right here. Well, you think uh, in your subconscious level, uh, eating junk food and watching TV is pleasure, right? And you probably enjoy it. And of course, it's a good thing because the junk food tastes good, and watching TV gives you some relaxation time, some time for you to be just free of every pressure, at least to turn off the stress signals and go to the other world. And yeah, I understand. And in that way, you enjoy it. In other words, there will be some pressure for you. But the problem is the problem is you think it's pleasure, but you are not actually giving yourself enough pleasure, because when you withhold doing other things in a medium run, in the long run, you are actually taking away pleasure from yourself. Because the moment your junk food is over, the moment you've watched something, then lots of negative feelings come to you that are opposite pleasure. While if you could do it, you could have more pleasure. You understand? Well, if we have conversation, I can make it clearer to you, but I think you understood what I mean here. And thank you, great, wonderful. Definitely, we have to look at it from a different perspective in order for the unconscious mind to feel different and to change. And there is another point that is mentioned here. For me, the most important value is freedom. It isn't financial independence an absolute necessity to enjoy freedom. So one core value might include other values, don't they? All right, let me read again. If so, freedom is important to you, and isn't financial independence an absolute necessity to enjoy freedom? Well, this is interesting. It might be true to you. It may not be true to everybody. Hear it here. Some people may agree with you. Some people may not. The point about values, that this is very critical, at the same time very, very important. The thing about values is values seem to be important to us, okay? But we have our own definitions of values. Based on the definitions and interpretations of each value, we rank them in order. So if you compare the value ranking of two people who have identical number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5s, okay, identical, same words, love, love, power, power, freedom, freedom, wealth, wealth. If you ask them, what do you mean by love? They have different interpretations. If you ask them, what do you mean by wealth? They have different interpretations. If you tell them whatever, they will definitely give you different interpretations. So these are all different, all of them. And because at the unconscious level, we interpret things in our own ways based on what we think or what we have experienced. Okay? So that's what what I can tell you about it. And Nitin also said, I'll wait until the end of the session. Okay, thank you, Nitin. Perfect. I will be here. I will be staying online, so we can talk about it. Maybe you can unmute yourself then by then, and we can have a conversation. And yes, sure. If you want by LinkedIn, you can just search my name, Alireza Sharifi, and you can find me. Also, you can find me on Instagram at AlirezadBA. I wrote it there. You can find me there. I think there are a couple of different Alireza Sharifis, but if you look at my face, you will find me there. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, perfect. So let's go and continue. I want to tell you something very, very interesting. This is about the defense mechanism of the unconscious mind and how it wants to protect itself. So far, I think we have a very good understanding of what is happening beneath that surface level. And we know by now that all our feelings and emotions are happening there. But I want to tell you about what I wrote here as the critical factor. The critical factor is a part of our mind that is designed to protect the content of the unconscious mind. Okay? So it's like the guardian, it's like the shield that protects our current attitudes, current assumptions, current habits, current emotions, memories, values, and beliefs. All right? So this critical factor at the surface level is designed to protect the unconscious mind, because the unconscious mind has no idea about what is good and what is not good. You know that. That is the responsibility of the conscious. So the conscious mind is so beautifully created and designed in order to protect the unconscious mind. All right? So a part of that mechanism is what we call the critical factor. At some references, it is called the critical faculty. So what the critical factor or critical faculty does is to evaluate any new message that comes from the outside. Okay? So when an information comes from the outside, your logic and your analysis is turned on, and you start evaluating that content. You think about it and you see, does it make sense and does it not? Now, a part of something that is between the unconscious and conscious is the critical factor. The critical factor receives the information, but before the information enters the water here, so to speak, as in this analogy, it will pause for a moment. It will compare the content of that message with the attitudes, with the assumptions, with the habits, with the current emotions, with memories, with values, and with beliefs. And then if everything is okay, if it's compatible with whatever is inside water, then the gates are opened and the message sinks in to the right place. All right? So that's a beautiful thing. It is good because it's protective. It protects the content of the unconscious mind so that we don't change our ideas very quickly, right? Well, just imagine if you had some ideas and very quickly someone was saying something and you were believing. So In other words, you have no belief, you have no value, because if someone says, you know what, stealing from others is important, then you say, oh, I think so. Okay, then it goes there. If someone says, you know what, there is no such thing as God, and you say, oh, okay, that's a good idea, then you change your belief. Understand? So it doesn't make sense. The critical factor is there to protect us, is to help us. And that's why it's critical. And it has to be critical in order to make sure that no garbage is going in. Now, the point is this: the criteria for critical factor is not basically pure logic. It's based on whatever is stored here down there. So if someone has a negative, for example, negative attitude toward relationship, if you tell them, you know what, relationships are good, you know what happens? The critical factor rejects the idea. That's it. If someone assumes that he or she is not smart enough, is not creative enough, and you tell them, hey, you are creative, he said, oh, okay. And he or she will smile at you with a sarcasm. And that sarcasm means the critical factor rejected the idea already. So the idea doesn't go in, doesn't sink in into the subconscious mind, right? If someone believes in God and then you say, hey, who is God? There is no God. What happens? The critical factors is there, will definitely be protective, and says this message is nonsense, so reject it. So it will reflect back and nothing will go in. Even if we are in a good mood or in a bad mood, okay? If today one person is in a bad mood and you say, you know what, life is beautiful, what happens? The emotion is negative, so the critical factor is in favor of negative emotions, and you in your message said life is beautiful. What happens is the critical factor says, no, there is conflict here, I feel otherwise, so the idea is rejected. When someone is sad, is depressed over and over and over, and you tell them there are lots of things that you can enjoy in life, it doesn't make sense to them. All right? So the critical factor keeps rejecting and rejecting and rejecting the idea. If someone doesn't feel confident and doesn't feel worthy, you keep telling them, you are good, you're a confident person. What happens is the critical factor rejects the idea all the time, constantly, over and over. All right? That's the point. Okay, so we can conclude that if what we have stored here is good and is positive, it's going to be great, because the critical factor or faculty will protect us. But on the other hand, if what we perceive, right, what we have here is negative, then the critical factor is protecting us, but it's not in favor of us, because we have limiting beliefs that the critical factor is protecting. We have conflicting values that critical factor is protecting. We have negative memories or bad memories and negative emotions, and the critical factor wants to protect it. We have negative assumptions, bad assumptions, wrong assumptions, or negative attitudes towards something, and the critical factor wants to protect it. So this is where, when we say we have to work on it, okay? And somehow we have to bypass this protection or shield layer in order to enter the subconscious mind. So this is what sometimes, I mean, majority of coaches, psychologists, or consultants do, or counselors do. They communicate in a way that this critical factor, so that there is trust. When there is trust, this critical factor will not be that effective, okay? Will perform at 50%, let's say 50% of its capacity. So there is 50% of chance to give some positive affirmations or positive informations or messages, so that this information goes down and goes to the right place and make the necessary changes beneath the surface. All right, that's what we have in in critical factor. Let me see if there is Any question? Yes, there are. Let me answer, and I will go further. So one question is, does critical factor play the role of firewall against negative inputs? Well, the critical factor plays the role of a firewall, but not against negative inputs. It can be positive or negative. It works to protect the content of the unconscious. If the content is negative, it will protect against positive messages. If the content is positive, then it will protect us against the negative messages. So yes, it is like a firewall, but it's based on whatever the content is. It just protects it. Good or bad, it doesn't know. All right, it just protects. Okay. If incoming messages are negative and emotions are negative, then will the message be accepted or rejected? Well, the message will be accepted. If this is interesting, if I am in a bad mood, if I feel terrible, all right, and someone comes and say, "Oh my God, I hate this life," that I connect with that person. That message resonates with me because what I was experiencing prior to that message, prior to receiving that message, was negativity, and what is being said is exactly in line with how I feel. And if deep inside I also believe that life is terrible, I will definitely accept that idea. So of course, absolutely. If incoming message is negative and on the inside we have negative feelings and limiting the beliefs accordingly, yes, we react based on that as well. Yes, sure. All right, so these are the two questions that I saw. I just wanted to share with you. I'm going to go back and show you the next slide. Okay, so you understand by now the role, the important role of the critical factor that help us protect the content and everything that is stored there. Okay. Next one is hypnosis. So you may have heard of hypnosis. I just want to tell you a little bit about it to understand what it is and how it affects our moods and how it bypasses the critical faculty. So as for hypnosis, there are three main elements that are very important in the state of hypnosis. One is in order for us to feel this or to be hypnotized, basically we have to have three things. Three things should be in place. Number one, we should focus on the signals of a person, or we should pay attention to one thing. We should focus on our attention to one thing. Two, we should feel relaxed. And number three, we should increase or enhance our capacity to respond to suggestions. I want to go back here and explain it right here. Well, my friends, by now you know that we have the conscious and unconscious, and there is a defense mechanism called critical factor or critical faculty. Now, the point is, when we are conscious, when we are awake, okay, the critical faculty works full capacity at its best, all right? When we are relaxed or when we want to go to sleep, gradually as we drift off to sleep, this critical factor slowly and slowly opens up, fades away, and gets turned off. Then we are asleep, all right? So this is the trick, and here's the trick. Here's actually the source of recommendations about meditation and about positive affirmations. 2 times a day, minimum, minimum, it happens much more than that. 2 times a day, we experience low level of critical factor activity. One is the time that we just open our eyes early in the morning, because when we just come back, when we are awake, it takes time for us to be fully awake. So during those times, we feel very sleepy, we feel super relaxed, and we may wish we go back to sleep. During this time, the critical factor is not that active. The critical factor is kind of open. is kind of not really formed yet, okay? And that is a good time to send a message down there to the unconscious mind, to the unconscious level, right? It's like in movies when you see security guards are changing their shifts, or a security guard from 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. during that time feels so sleepy that may even take short naps. And if you pass, okay, pass by, maybe the security guard doesn't even notice that you did pass, right? So the same thing happens for the critical factor. When we wake up in the morning, we were very sleepy, we were deep asleep, and we woke up, but there is some time required for our mind to build up everything, all right? Build up everything in place. And that is a very good time for us to give positive affirmations and positive suggestions for ourselves. That's why many coaches and trainers help others and suggest to others that you can write some positive affirmations, positive words of affirmations about yourself, your ability, uh, positive things with good feelings. And the moment you start opening your eyes in the morning, read them 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, and feel them. That is the best time because your critical factor does not reject them. Okay? Because it's like, okay, I'm sleepy, just go. Something like that. All right? Same thing happens before we go to sleep again. Okay? We become relaxed, relax. At some point, we say, you know what? I am so sleepy and I'm going to sleep. You go and brush your teeth, and the moment, and while you're brushing your teeth, you close your eyes and say, oh my God, I can't wait to go to the bed. You know, during this time, gradually your critical factor goes to sleep, wants to take some rest. And that gives you the opportunity to listen to something positive. That is a very good time if you have some flashcards or some small pieces of paper with beautiful paragraphs, or positive messages, to keep repeating to yourself during those times. And you tell yourself, I'm a good person, I am confident, and I deserve the best. And I know I am becoming better and better and better in doing what I'm doing. And I'm creative, and so on and so forth. You just, that thing can go on and on and on. And you repeat that a couple of times before you doze off to sleep. That's the very good time, a very good time, perfect time for you to bypass the critical factor. All right? Now, before I tell you about hypnosis, I want to tell you 2 more things. One is about the influence of people. There are people in our lives that we listen to. There are people in our life that we like the most. For example, if someone wants to persuade you to do something, probably he or she should talk through that great person that you listen to, and that person can talk to you. When people of influence talk to us, our critical factor is not going to be resisting much. All right? So it means the critical factor takes it easily and let go of some of these messages unless there is like significant conflict. So if that person of influence gives you something about your attitude, about your opinion, you accept. All right? So your critical factor allows it to go in, to sink in. But if this person wants to tell you something that is in contradiction with your beliefs, you are going to even reject that idea. That's one. So that's about the power of people who are influential in our lives. It can be our parents, it can be our bigger brothers, or it can be a spouse or a close friend of ours, and so on. But your most important influential person in your life is definitely yourself. Because it is said that the power of your self-talk is at least 17 times more important than those of the most influential person in your life. That is significant. That is big. Once again, the power of your self-talk is at least 17 times stronger than that of the most influential person in your life besides you. So this means you are more influential than anybody else in your life. So what you say to yourself can be totally constructive and helpful and empowering, or totally disempowering and destructive. But you choose. And that is the power of your conscious mind. Your conscious mind is your goal setter. You set the goal, you set the criteria, you give commands. The words you use, positive or negative, will sink in, will bypass your critical factor. So you are able to talk to yourself, and your critical factor cannot resist against your will, cannot resist against your comments, against your command. So watch what you say and how you say, and make sure what you mention is positive. All right. So I told you this because this is a good introduction to the topic of the hypnosis and hypnotherapy. So in hypnosis, what will happen is someone helps you to become more relaxed. When you're relaxed, the critical factor slows down. The critical factor may be turned off. Okay, and what happens is the person who is influencing you, or he's trying to help you in hypnosis, has better access to your unconscious mind and can talk to you directly, and the information will go down, will sink in much easier than ever before, because the critical factor is not working against you, and it's just turned off. It's at the side, and the, the, the hypnotist can help you, talk to you in a positive way to make some positive changes in your unconscious level, at your unconscious level. And that's what happens in hypnosis, basically. And if you want to explore more or to do some studies, this picture explains everything in a nice way. When we are asleep, we are in delta zone. Okay, so the brain waves are somewhere between 1 to 3 hertz. And when we wake up, or before we go to sleep, we go to theta zone. And this is a zone where we feel very sleepy, we feel very tired, we don't have the energy to move muscles, we don't have the energy to even open our eyes. Okay, our eyelids are kind of sticky, warm, and heavy. And the good thing about this state is, if you're in this state and you receive positive signals, your body reacts to it immediately. That's the maximum capacity of your unconscious mind to make changes. So during the time that your brain shows more of theta brain waves, your body is very, very much receptive of positive suggestions. And that's where you are right here. So as you want to wake up, you go to alpha zone, where your brain waves are going higher, between 8 to 12, and you feel more relaxed. And of course, after that, when you are wake up, you're totally in awakening state, and you are in beta zone, and you have all the energy, you have full concentration, and your conscious mind can work. You can do mental activities or physical activities easily. And gamma state, it should be greater. This is wrong. It's not less than, it's more than or greater than 25 hertz. And that is a zone of awareness when ideas come to you, when there is illumination, when you, some ideas suddenly gets into your head, you find a solution, you figure out something, you notice something, the aha moment, that's the time that your brain shows gamma waves, or that is your awareness, total awareness. All right, so I think this picture is better because it explains almost everything that I talked about in one picture. And there is something additional right here. And if you look at this, it's the same thing, the conscious mind and the unconscious. The conscious uses logic and analysis, and there is critical factor that protects everything that is beneath its level. attitudes, assumptions, memories, and imagination. I add imagination because I want to tell you that memories and imaginations are the same thing at the unconscious level. Your habits, your values and beliefs, and core values and core beliefs. And at the bottom, we have what we call the identity. When when emotions are negative emotions are gone, when everything is clarified for you, and when you are able to shift your values and beliefs, that's the time you will have better access, or you will have a good understanding of your core, something that has been in a very dark place down there that we never looked at, uh, or paid attention to. And now we have this opportunity to see it, to understand it, and to discover it, in simple words, to discover it better. And that's the identity. So this is what we want to get into. So if there is any question I want to answer, and then I will continue with the rest of it. Beautiful. I can see some comments. Thank you, Kosar. Thank you very much. You're very kind. You're very sweet. Thank you so much. I know it's midnight. It's after midnight in Iran, and for sure, hopefully, if I can record it, I may be able to share with you uh, the information. It will be good. With regards to Nabil's question, can anyone be hypnotized? Yes, anyone can be hypnotized. It's all about us wanting or not wanting to be hypnotized, but yes, for sure we can. And Sharait is asking, when we are tired is the best time, or when we fall asleep? I don't understand. Oh, okay. Oh, so you got it. Okay, good. Uh, Basically, what it says is, what I wanted to say is, before we fall asleep or before we totally feel awake, these two periods of time, probably there are 5 minutes. These are great times for us to give ourselves positive suggestions, be it sounds or something that we keep repeating in our heads, or something that we just read from a piece of paper that we prepared before, we wrote before. All of these can be useful. Do we have any other question with regards to what we said so far?
Alireza, is it safe to be hypnotized? Like, is it can people trust everyone to hypnotize them or no?
You see, hypnosis is an important is important in a way that the critical faculty is turned off. All right, and no one can force you to do something that you don't want to. No one can force you to do something that is in direct contradiction with your current values and beliefs. All right, that's for you to be safe, to feel safe about it. And at the same time, you see, hypnosis is a state. Okay, this is your mind, and it's super active. It's super active. It works and works and works very hard, and the critical faculty protects everything. But when you are so relaxed and someone gives you suggestions to be more relaxed and more relaxed and more relaxed, you gradually increase and enhance your relaxation, and you open up your mind to be more receptive to positive signals. So if this person, as a hypnotist, does not know what to say, or to say something negative, well, it gives you bad feelings. For a couple of days, you may not feel good. And when you hear, because you're still kind of conscious, because you understand what is being said, okay? You will never be like a puppet without any control. You will have control, and you will understand what is being said, but you want to cooperate because it feels good. All right, that's how you will feel when you're hypnotized. So if this person knows how to hypnotize, then it's going to be a good experience. It's going to be nice. It's going to be easy. It's going to feel good. And because of that good feeling, you want to keep going, and you want to keep going, and you want to keep going. All right. Then it comes the suggestions. If the suggestions, or in other words, if the messages that are being said to you are positive messages, are good messages you receive, you enjoy, you digest, and you receive more and more, and you feel good. All right. So if someone knows hypnosis, for sure it will be good. And hypnosis is not being used as one sole system, independent system to help, but it's a very, very good complementary service. And I can, and I know that there are thousands of different research that supports this idea that there are major and significant improvements when there is hypnosis in place, in addition to other therapeutical techniques. These are very, very good. So Sherry says, what problems can hypnotism or hypnotherapy solve? Well, basically, hypnosis can help a lot with many things because it helps us activate the unconscious mind. It is, people are able to retrieve their memories, recall the past memories a bit better than before. That's one. It improves the moods because it's all about emotions, and for sure it changes the emotions. It is also able to change our assumptions and attitudes. In order for it to change our values and beliefs, it requires more sessions, maybe 15, 16, 20 sessions, so that we keep repeating positive things. We keep going deep to the unconscious over and over to make some changes. But I tell you this, at the end of it, it is you and it is your power, not the person who is hypnotizing you. Because if you don't want it, the best hypnotist in the world cannot make changes in your mind. It is you, if you want to cooperate or not, if you want to make that change happen or not. And that is the power that you have and no one else over you and over yours. Okay, and there is another comment. Okay, Hale is asking, do you have hypnosis sessions? Well, actually, we had a hypnosis session, I think last Saturday. We had close to 60, 70 people. It wasn't actually traditional hypnosis, but it was a combination of meditation and hypnosis. But it was a good experience with it. I may do it again, not this month. I'm super packed this month, but hopefully if I see there is opportunity, I will announce it and I will email everybody and invite everybody for a 3-hour free self-hypnosis session so that we learn how to hypnotize ourselves. But it won't happen in 1 or 2 weeks, but hopefully from the middle of July onwards, I can have a session for that. Okay, there is another comment from Shruti, who said, suppose for an honest and sincere person, someone talk about something which is against it. Sometimes it creates a fear. Does this happen because of belief system or the critical factor? Well, fear is a part of the unconscious mind, right? So fear is an emotion. You can see here, fear is an emotion, and it can come because sometimes what is being said is like as a threat for someone who is sincere, or let's say naive. They will quickly change their assumptions and they believe that it's going to happen. And if that becomes a reality, there is fear attached to it because they're scared. And so it has nothing to do with critical factor, but when the message bypasses the critical factor and we assume that it is true, then our body reacts to it and we feel negative. We feel fearful, right? That's what it is. So in this slide, I put a couple of words, fear, emotions, emotion everywhere on the left and right side, because I want to tell you this. Emotions are everywhere at the unconscious level, everywhere, all right? And it is the emotions that come to the surface that make us feel differently. How these emotions come out of our attitudes, out of our assumptions, out of our memories and imaginations. Sometimes we imagine negative things over and over and over and over. That's also negative emotion, right? Habits create emotions. If someone procrastinates all the time, they feel frustrated, they feel angry, they feel powerless, they feel, I don't know, guilty, they feel disappointed, they feel exhausted, and so on. And also about values and beliefs, and finally, identity. So emotions are there. So in order for us to reach the deeper levels, we have to change the attitudes first. And that is what happens um, in coaching sessions. That's what I do. I think every coach should do that, and majority of good coaches should know this already. And then we tackle on this particular point, assumptions. We change assumptions of people. What if your life is better? What if it's desirable? What if everything is possible? And things like that, to make new assumptions. These new attitudes and these new assumptions can change decrease the intensity of negative emotions, and it will help us to get into this field. And in order to change memories, it is possible to work on memories, but imagination can be a better way to do it. It's much easier and much faster. And then we get to the deeper level. But before we go this deep to this level, we have to remove emotions, negative emotions from here. By removing, I don't mean to remove the nature of being angry or sad. These are natural emotions that we have to have. But instead, what we remove is not to remove, but to release. We release extra anger. We release extra fear, excessive fear, unwarranted, unwanted sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, and so on and so forth. And then once these negative emotions are cleared, and these two are positive attitudes and assumptions, then we have very, very good chance to make necessary and positive changes to memories, to habits, and to values and beliefs. And that's how a coach can help. That's how even psychologists at some points with different methodologies can help you to change your emotions and finally change your values and beliefs. Okay, there is one last thing I want to tell you, and then I will see if there is any question. In 9 minutes, we will, let me see. Oh, in 10 minutes, we will go for a break. This is the slide that I added last night because I think it is very, very important. You see, this dotted red line is the border between the unconscious and conscious. Okay, let's say beneath this level is at the bottom is the unconsciousness, and what you see above this line is consciousness. All right. In a morning, in a nice morning, in a snowy or rainy day, you open your eyes, okay? And the moment you open your eyes, there are a couple of suggestions in your head, okay? These suggestions are kind of self-talk. They come in a form of self-talk, and they come from your unconsciousness. Your unconscious mind tells you, oh, it's a bad day. Oh my God, again, Monday morning and I have to go to work. All right, so let's say there is a negative suggestion. Okay, so you receive this negative suggestion. Now you are aware of what we call a negative suggestion. And what you do is you have two choices. In this situation, you have two choices to make. The first choice is to approve, and the second choice is to reject. Someone is on mute. If you can, please mute yourself because there is a little bit of sound. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, so in this situation, when a new suggestion comes from the unconscious mind to you, you have the opportunity to accept it, approve it, or reject it. It's very, very important. If there is a negative suggestion that says, oh my God, I hate Mondays. Okay, that's a suggestion that comes in a form of a self-talk, and it comes out of your feelings. In other words, it comes out of your subconsciousness, and your consciousness is now aware of it. Now, if you approve it, what happens is you say, oh my God, and you don't say anything. It's like you are giving command to your subconscious to seek more of that for you. So today is a bad day is a new suggestion. And if you don't do anything about it, it means you approved it. Once you approve it, it's kind of command to your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind is already rewarded. Your subconscious mind will find more of bad things for you because it strives for goals and gives you another negative suggestion. You receive the second negative suggestion and you say, oh my goodness, it's also raining. It's Monday, not only Monday, but also it's raining, and I hate rain. All right, you approved it again. You gave another command to the unconscious mind, something like good boy or good girl, go and find some more bad things for me. And then you want to, let's say, get ready, and you see, oh my God, you didn't iron your clothes, your shirt, and you're running out of time. And you say, oh my God, I hate it. So another suggestion comes out of the unconscious mind and you approve it. All right. And in other words, because you don't say anything to it and you just let go with that negative feeling, you give a command to your unconscious mind to find more negativity for you. And then you go out and you're driving, and you're holding your coffee and you spill a little bit of your coffee on the floor, and you say, that's perfect. That's the day I didn't want to experience, or I didn't want to see, I didn't want to be in. You know what happens again? You approved it again. You give command to your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind says, thank you, sir, or thank you, ma'am. I'm going to give more of that negativity to you. So you go a bit further, and there is a traffic light, and you stop. Okay, there's a red light, and you stop. And it's now green. The driver in front of you doesn't notice, and you are angry. You are raged, and you push the horn and you say, just go. And you may say some negative words, and that driver slowly starts like moving, and you say, oh my God, why this day, why these Mondays are so terrible? So again, you approve something, you give command to your unconscious mind to give you something worse. So this cycle can go on and on and on and on, and it's endless until night that you come back to sleep and you sleep. But for sure, 90% of how you will feel tomorrow is going to be like the way you did the day before. And is being approved in studies, right? So tomorrow, most probably, you're not going to feel good unless you put a stop to it on it. Okay, someone, it was, yes, was, that is. Okay, now, how can we act otherwise? Again, in the same scenario on Monday, you open your eyes, and once you open your eyes, you realize that it's Monday morning and you have to go to work. All right. So the new suggestion is something negative from the unconscious mind and says, oh my God, I have to go to work. But this time, instead of approving it, you have the option to reject the idea. So you say it's Monday and it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a beautiful day and I'm going to be productive. And this day will be a good day for me this week. The moment you say that, you change the whole pattern of your unconscious mind. Your unconscious mind did not expect you to say that, but when you say that, you're giving another command by the opposite nature to your unconscious mind to give you something positive. So your unconscious mind will strive to find something positive for you. Even if you go and see you didn't iron your shirt, and even if it gives you another suggestion, you reject it. You reject it for the second time, for the third time, for the fourth time, for the fifth time. You keep rejecting the negative idea until your subconscious mind says, you know what, I give up. You tell me what to do and I do it. And the reason that sometimes the subconscious mind repeats the negativity is because it is trained to be negative before. So you want to stop it, it is your responsibility. It is you. So you say, I'm going to stop it. and I'm not going to accept any negative suggestion by the unconscious. And I'm going to rephrase it because my self-talk is very powerful, and I give this command because your command will bypass the critical faculty and sink in at the unconscious level. So you change it, you change, and you change the goal for your unconscious mind will seek another positive outcome for you. And then your day will be a good day. And then the next day, 90% of your yesterday's feeling will be repeated. 90%. So if you make today a good day, tomorrow 90% of your feelings were good feelings like the day before, those of the day before. And that's how we can repeat a good things. So it is your cycle, it is up to you, and the critical point is right here when you can approve or reject. And this is why we say being aware or being conscious of our emotions and self-talk is the most important skill that anyone could develop in life. This is how you can actually do that. All right, we have another topic of beautiful topic of success that I want to tell you about, because it's very important to put everything together to understand what success means and how we can be more successful. So definitely after this short break, we will do that. We have 2 more minutes before the break. Our last session will not be for 2 hours, will be shorter, probably for 1 hour. So be with us because I want to talk about the rules of success and the rules of empowerment and how we can actually put all these things together in order to get the most out of it. Okay, so one question is, one question is from Sherry. She asks, does it help us forget bad events from the past, like childhood? If you're referring to hypnosis and hypnotherapy, yes, it is possible for you to forget something, but forgetting is not the word basically. The point is this: we keep thinking of bad memories of the past or until we realize what happened and what we got out of that. When we get the learning, we let go of that. The memory will be still there, but it's not going to be bothering us anymore. And that's how we solve the problem. When we become conscious of what happened in the past and what was the effect and what we can do instead, it's all over. It's all gone. We feel better. We come back to happy life, and we will let go of the past, and we accept the past as part of our past. But past is past. It's over. Now I'm in the present, so I don't have any attachment to my past years and past weeks and past months. All right, so Khalid says, please let us know when you do hypnosis session. Having said that, a group hypnosis session by another psychologist did not work on me. Everyone once went to their childhood time except me. Well, I can talk to you about that if you want to know. For sure, I will explain it to you. If you want to know more about why, you can just contact me on Monday or Tuesday, and we will talk about it, and I tell you what happens and what are the barriers, why we don't experience such thing sometimes. Okay, so it's 3:59, almost 4 o'clock. I'm going to give you a 15-minute break so that you refresh yourself. Maybe you drink some tea or something, and then we come back. We will have one more hour, and after that, I will be there with your questions for 45 minutes until 6 o'clock if you have any question. All right? So enjoy your break, and I will see you in 15 minutes. Thank you.